AI can analyze incredibly complex data, genomic data, for example, or subtle patterns in images radiomics that the human eye might miss.
Ah, okay. So tailoring treatments based on really individual data points.
Precisely. Plus, AI is speeding up drug discovery. You see companies like Syra Therapeutics, Formation Bio, raising huge amounts of money for their AI platforms.
So it's research, admin, diagnostics. It seems to be everywhere. And it's reaching us directly, too, isn't it? Like consumer tech.
Absolutely. Think about the ECG app on the Apple Watch, FDA authorized, monitoring your heart rhythm. That's AI in your pocket, essentially.
Right. And there's potential for AI helping maybe triage symptoms or guiding people in emergencies, even remote monitoring.
Yeah, remote patient monitoring is a big one. Adjusting treatments automatically based on data, like the Diabloop system for type 1 diabetes, the scope is just vast.
It really feels like it's touching almost every part of healthcare.
Yeah.
But it can't all be smooth sailing, right? There must be hurdles.
Oh, absolutely. And it's important to talk about those too. For a while, the really solid prospective studies were a bit thin on the ground. That's changing now, which is convincing more clinicians,
But the evidence base is still catching up to the hype sometimes.
you could say that. And regulation is definitely playing catch up with the pace of development.
That seems to be a common theme with new tech.
It is. A few years back, something like half the AI tools used in radiology hadn't actually gone through official validation.
Wow, okay. So a need for more robust evaluation.
And more consistency globally. People talk about regulatory convergence. There are efforts like the US-EU Trade and Technology Council's voluntary AI code, but it's still evolving.
So a really dynamic picture, incredible potential, but also some serious things to figure out. It feels like AI could really reshape healthcare.
It absolutely could. From easing burdens to finding new treatments.
Okay, let's pause there. When we come back, we'll dig more into those challenges and considerations, the ethics, the practicalities, the how do we actually make this work well questions. Potential split point for recording editing. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been talking about the potential of AI in healthcare easing workloads, improving diagnosis, drug discovery. Really exciting stuff.
But now we need to look at some of the trickier aspects, the challenges.
Right, because it's not just about if we use AI, but how. Where do we start?
Well, one big area is the whole black box problem, explicability.
Meaning doctors need to understand why the AI is suggesting something, not just take its word for it.
Exactly. For clinicians to trust and use these tools effectively, especially for critical decisions, they need some insight into how the AI reached its conclusion. It can't just be magic.
That makes total sense. You need that confidence. What else?
Bias in the training data is a huge concern. If the data used to teach the AI isn't diverse and representative of the whole population,
Then the AI might not work as well for certain groups, or even make mistakes.
precisely, it could lead to disparities in diagnosis or treatment. Think about how heart attack symptoms can differ between genders the AI needs to be trained on data reflecting that.
Okay, so ensuring fairness and equity in the data itself is crucial.
Absolutely. And that requires ongoing vigilance, monitoring performance across different groups.
Which sounds like a lot of work, integrating this properly. What about just the nuts and bolts of getting AI into hospitals and clinics?
Yeah, that's a significant challenge. Making sure these AI tools can actually talk to the existing electronic health records, the other systems. Interoperability is key.
Right. It's no good having a fancy AI tool if it doesn't connect to anything and just creates more work.
Exactly. It needs to be seamless to really deliver those efficiency gains we talked about.
And what about the human side, the doctor-patient relationship? Does AI change that?
That's a really important ethical consideration. The goal, I think, should be for AI to augment human capabilities, not replace them entirely.
So freeing up the doctor to be more human, perhaps, more empathetic, better communication.
That's the ideal, yes.
Yeah.
Maintaining human oversight, ensuring that the technology serves the relationship rather than hindering it. There's also the risk of over-reliance, what some call automation bias.
Just trusting the machine without critical thought.
Potentially, yes. So training and awareness for clinicians is vital. And then you have the whole data privacy and security angle.
Especially with wearables and apps collecting so much personal health data.
Huge implications there. Consent, how data is used, keeping it secure, it's paramount.
And what about access? Is this tech going to be available to everyone, or will it widen the gap between the haves and have-nots?
The digital divide is a real concern. We need to consciously think about equitable access as these solutions are rolled out. Plus, sometimes these personal devices can cause anxiety, right? Flagging things that lead to unnecessary worry or doctor visits.
So a double-edged sword sometimes. It seems like for every opportunity, there's a corresponding challenge or ethical point to consider.
It really is a balancing act. The potential is immense, but we have to be thoughtful and deliberate about how we integrate AI, prioritizing patient well-being, fairness, transparency.
So summarizing this part, yes, AI can do amazing things, but we need clear explanations, unbiased data, smooth integration, maintained human connection, strong privacy rules, and equitable access. Quite a list.
It is. It requires ongoing work, collaboration, adapting regulations as the tech evolves. It's not a one-and-done implementation.
This has been, well, another really fascinating deep dive. It's clear AI in healthcare isn't science fiction anymore. It's here. But the journey of integrating it wisely is really just beginning.
Absolutely. And it's a journey worth watching closely.
Indeed. Before we wrap up, anything else to add?
Just that if you found this discussion interesting, you might want to check out the podcast Ifadip. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so every listen helps.
Great reminder. Thanks for that insight today.
My pleasure.